G'day, I'm Fiona and I'm the face of Prismatic Brush. I'm a full-time polymer clay artist and this month I'm focusing on the Jurassic Park franchise. I'll be bringing cuties like these guys to life using polymer clay, inks and pastels, and you can follow along by watching me on my YouTube channel or over on my Instagram account. I sell my art and this month I'm doing something special. There'll be 2 giveaways, one on my Patreon account and one for my YouTube subscribers. So be sure to head over to my Instagram for more details. Alright Andy, it's time for your review.
Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and the person you just saw at the beginning of the video, that was Fiona, and Fiona is the owner and operator of Prismatic Brush Art. And as you could obviously tell, she gave you a little bit of information there about what she does, as well as her plans for the coming month of June, which is Jurassic June, and what she will have going up there on her YouTube channel, as well as different dinosaurs that she's going to be giving away. And I have the pleasure of owning and reviewing this week 2 of her models, and the very first one here that I've chosen to review for you guys is the Dilophosaurus. And I recently had taken a look at quite a bit of her art, and one of the ones that really stood out to me the most was this Dilophosaurus, because I thought it was so cool to see a baby Dilophosaurus. I loved the pose, I loved the paint job that she had given it. Everything about it honestly just called out to me. I was really psyched about it from the images that I had seen of hers. It's definitely even nicer in hand, which in my opinion is a huge compliment to her artistic skill. And you can see again that we have it in a really cute, adorable positioning here, laying down, even with the frill extended, kind of making it look like it's just incredibly playful at this point. And she really has done an insanely good job on sculpting the Dilophosaurus out overall, but also on the fine detail, and her paint job is exceptionally well done. And one of the coolest factors I think about it is the fact that we have glass eyes for it, which in my opinion really add another level of realism to any type of a dinosaur figure when you can incorporate a glass eye. So let's go ahead, jump straight to a closer look at this beauty right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our baby Dilophosaurus, I love the fact straight away that our Dilophosaurus has lips to it, so you don't see the teeth kind of overhanging or anything, giving it a very realistic and lifelike feel if you ask me. And you can also see again that, like I was stating, we have the incredibly cool looking eyes, and not only do the eyes look awesome because they are glass eyes, but if you look in the eye itself, like there's a lot of coloration in there, adding even more realism to it, honestly. And of course, when you have that kind of glass eye look, the eyes will follow you, which you can see there. So it looks like no matter where we go, our Dilophosaurus is staring directly at us. Just so insanely awesome. I absolutely love anytime I can get a figure with glass eyes, and that definitely looks great here on this Dilophosaurus. And you can also see that we have the nostrils sculpted out up here. She's also kind of highlighted the mouth quite nicely with some alternate tones of color, almost like a reddish tone in there. And there's some beautiful paintwork here. We have an incredibly appealing looking green for the majority of the body, but we also have kind of like some green spots and stuff through the face, almost like a speckling. You can see in many different areas. And we also have some darker tones of color, like some darker browns, variations of darker browns that kind of lead down from the top of the head, stripe down a little bit there into the face. You can see it there in the crest as well of our Dilophosaurus. And she's done a very good job of adding the paintwork in a really nice, realistic, and lifelike way. On top of that, our Dilophosaurus looks incredibly adorable just because of the positioning of the face. It almost has, like when you look at it from the front, it almost has a little bit of a menacing type of a look, but then when you look at it from the side, at the same time we have a menacing look, we have an adorable look for our baby Dilophosaurus. As you move along and you lead down into the frill, you can see that the frill 100% is painted in a similar fashion to what you would see on a Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus. You have that kind of reddish coloration that stripes back and forth through the course of the frill, and you can also see that we have again an outer line of a darker coloration that kind of circles and borders around the outer edge of the frill. And I love that the frill isn't just straight up held out, like it's kind of leaning back but then kind of laying down on the ground as the Dilophosaurus plays, which again I just think is a really cool touch on her part, adding in that neat little addition of the way the frill is kind of extended but at the same time not fully extended, and just showing how the dinosaur dinosaur is, again, kind of being really playful. As you lead down the back of the dinosaur, which of course you can see that the frill is flattened out, even though we have some pretty nice coloration and everything here for the back of the frill, but it's flattened out because your model would be laying down like this, and there's quite a bit of pressure, of course, on the back as well as the back of the frill, but you can see she has even added in some nice paintwork to the back of the frill. But as you move down the course of the back of the dinosaur, you can see quite a few different mixtures of browns and greens back here, different variations of browns. Like I could definitely pick up on some lighter and darker shades of browns running down the course of the back of the Dilophosaurus. You can also pick out in general like the thigh leading here off of the body, even though the legs are kind of rearing back a little bit as it's playing. You can see the thigh and everything again back here. Really, really nice detailing throughout, beautiful scale detail you can pick up on as you run down the course of the figure. And as you lead out the length of the tail does curve back up and around, but you can see again we have all of those different variations of color as we lead out the length of the tail. But as we come back up here, you can again see that the limbs are up in a very playful positioning, as we have both of the hands as well as both of the feet kind of leading up, and you can see as we look down here through the course of the arm, the scale detail definitely looks quite nice. Leading down, we have like larger scales that become fine as we reach down into the forelimbs, and then we look down there, you can see some more beautiful paintwork. I love the way that she's painted like the darker greens with the lighter greens and kind of like a speckling type of an appearance to it. It's a really, really cool paint job given to this Dilophosaurus. And you can also see we have the fingers nicely sculpted out, the nails as well. The nails are painted with a nice glossy black, adding in a nice element of realism. You can see the thigh, again, really nice scale detail in the thigh region, and you can also see more of that beautiful paintwork as we have more variations of greens and browns leading down into the shin area of our Dilophosaurus, and then you lead down into the foot, and you can again see how the toes are sculpted out really quite nicely. We yet again have the nails painted with that nice glossy black, and the nails also are sculpted quite beautifully. You can see we do even have dew claws here, and we have a nice lighter tone for the underside here of our Dilophosaurus. Beautifully painted, honestly. Really smooth transitions back and forth between colors, as well as incredibly nice color choices chosen for our Dilophosaurus. And you can again see this side looks great as far as the sculpt, looks great as far as the paint, again showing off that incredibly playful aspect to this baby Dilophosaurus. And you can see how the shin is very nicely sculpted out, again picking up on the really nice scale detail leading down, as well as the really cool foot sculpt down there. So she really did an excellent job on this figure. Something that I also think is incredibly cool about this is Fiona also has included a little package here, like a little baggie that first of all includes the Prismatic Brush Art logo right there, which is super, super cool. It's like a little sticker. And you also have some super glue included. And that is because, first of all, you can see here all the social media outlets as far as Prismatic Brush Art goes. But when you flip it around here on the back, it says how to care for your new pet. If your pet should fall and injure themselves, use a tiny dot of the glue in this package to mend their wounds. If your pet gets dirty, just use a soft brush to dust them clean, or water on a small damp cloth for stubborn marks. Be sure to get behind the ears. To ensure a long, happy, and healthy life, keep exposure to the sun and weather at a minimum. If you have any concerns, contact me on any of the social media platforms found on the back of this card. Thank you for adopting. So instantly, just based on the fact that you can see the things that she has included, that shows you the love and care that goes into these products, making sure that there is no chance you'll be anything but ecstatic about the arrival of your baby dinosaur. Really, again, showing a lot of love and care about the products as well as the happiness of the customer. And on top of that, there's also an adoption certificate. So you can see we have the Prismatic Brush logo here on the back. And we open this, try not to rip it. I'm so bad at doing this all the time. I almost always end up ripping them, but we're so close. I did pretty good. And then once we open it up here, again, you can see that we have name Spitter, species Dilophosaurus, adopted on May 20th, 2022, and congratulations. And then here on the back, you can again see that we have the Prismatic Park as well, which is really cool. It also tells us that we have a carnivore and shows us where exactly our little dinosaur lives, our little Dilophosaurus. So that is absolutely awesome. And we also actually have the adoption certificate here for the next dinosaur we will be looking at here on the channel, and obviously you can see that we have Blue the Velociraptor, so that's one we're going to be looking at here on the channel very soon. And I actually almost completely forgot to mention that we have this little extra in here as well. If my camera would focus on it, there we go. You can see again some really nice detailing on that as well. Boy, my camera's really not wanting to focus on this. Again, I'm just absolutely blown away by how much awesomeness is included in this, and again, how much love and care goes into these releases. Now, as far as a size goes for the Dilophosaurus, if we go from the back of the tail to, I would say the frill would probably be the furthest point out, potentially. You're looking at like 4 and maybe about 4.5 inches. It's a little hard to get a perfect measurement because we kind of have the legs and everything there in the way, or around the 11, closing in on 11.5 centimeter area. And then there's not really going to be too much for a height, but the highest point would definitely be the tail here. You're looking at about 2 3/4 inches, or right around 7 centimeters, maybe a little bit over. But for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Prismatic Brush Art Dilophosaurus baby, and you can definitely see again that the size of this is pretty good. Like, it's not all that small. It's not huge by any means, but it also does have a fairly impressive size for something like this. And again, on top of the incredibly cool sculpt, the adorable appearance, and the beautiful paintwork, it has a very impressive size if you ask me. Honestly, I would say probably a perfect size. And then as far as another size comparison goes, we have one of the 1/35th scale human figures from the Nanmu line on the left. We also have in the background there, which we can't really see too well, but we have another Dilophosaurus. We have the Toy Monster International Captives version, as well as the Mattel Jurassic World Dominion Mini Giganotosaurus. Again, a few different figures here for a stand-in to help further show you the size. So this Prismatic Brush Art Dilophosaurus baby, this Hatchling Dilophosaurus, is absolutely adorable in the best possible way. This thing is incredibly well done from every standpoint, honestly, whether it's the sculpt, whether it's the paint, even the pose is perfectly done. I love the playful pose of the figure, just the fact that the legs and hands and everything are all up, making it look like he's just maybe playing with another Dilophosaurus, or maybe he's trying to play with me, I'm not really too sure. Just really gives him that super adorable hatchling type of a look. And then we also have the frill that's kind of like extended, but at the same time sort of relaxed as the dinosaur's just again playing. Really cute, really fitting the theme of this adorable baby Dilophosaurus. And the coloration, I think, is beautiful because it has a very Jurassic Park look to it as far as like the tones of color, although at the same time Fiona has gone ahead and added in her own elements of how she perceives Dilophosaurus and kind of switched up the coloration a little bit to have, again, its own Jurassic Park likeness, but its own Prismatic Brush Art style. And the sculpt is just beautiful overall. There's a lot of really nice detail to it. She's really nicely sculpted out, honestly, every aspect of the figure, including some really nice scale detail throughout, all of the fine detail you would expect to see, as well as the really nice, like, especially the curvatures in the frill. I really think that, you know, looks very lifelike and realistic on the figure. So if you are interested in getting a hold of some of these, my suggestion to you is to head on over to the social media accounts of Fiona and the Prismatic Brush Art and keep following and staying up to date on everything that is going on with them, because then you'll be able to find out when some of these models are up for sale, as well as again following the YouTube channel and her Patreon, because she is going to be doing 2 giveaways for Jurassic June. So definitely make sure you head on over there, follow her, and subscribe to her on YouTube, follow her social media accounts, stay up to date on everything going on with them, and make sure you enter those giveaways so you can potentially win yourself one of these incredible models. And make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.